everyone for this Sunday morning. So we'll begin today's program with invocation to God. I request Balaji for the prayer song.
वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम 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 वारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवातापि गणपतिं भजे हम भूतादिसंसेवितचरणं 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 भूतभौतिका प्रपञ्चभरणं वितरागिणं विनुतयोगिनं वितरागिणं विनुतयोगिनं विश्वकारणं विघ्नवारणं वितरागिणं विनुतयोगिनं विश्वकारणं विघ्नवारणं वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम भवमुनिवरा प्रपूजितं त्रिकोणामध्यगतं मुरारी प्रमुखाद्युपास्थितं मूलाधार क्षेत्रास्थितं परादिचत्वारि वागात्मकं प्रणवस्वरूप वक्रतुण्डं निरन्तरं निटिलचन्द्रखण्डं निजवामकरविधृतेक्षुदण्डं निरन्तरं निटिलचन्द्रखण्डं निजवामकरविधृतेक्षुदण्डं कराम्बुजपाशबीजपूरं कलुषविदूरं भूताकारं हरादिगुरुगुहतोषितबिम्बं हंसध्वनिभूषितहेरम्बं हरादिगुरुगुहतोषितबिम्बं हंसध्वनिभूषितहेरम्बं वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम वारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवातापि गणपतिं भजे हम
I would like to give a brief introduction about our Sanskrit Sangha. Our Sangha plays a key role in promoting the appreciation and enthusiasm for Samskrita Bhasha or Deva Bhasha among the members of the community. Our activities like the annual Samskrita Shipira and the weekly discussions of Raghuvamsha and other Kavyas are well received and keep the learning of Sanskrit alive. So we also organize monthly talks that range from varied subjects like from Vedanta, Itihasa, science, tradition, etc. But today we have gathered here for a very special occasion to commemorate the 250th birth anniversary of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, the youngest of the Trinity of Carnatic music. So it's a moment of immense pride and honor to invite our distinguished speaker for today's program, Dr. R Asha, who will enlighten us with her insights on the Ganesha kritis of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. So let me introduce today's speaker for the audience. Dr. R Asha, disciple of Sangeetha Kala Acharya Smt Seetha Narayanan, is a Sanskrit scholar, writer, researcher, musician and a dancer. Her prolific writings on philosophy, art, religion, culture have received accolades from experts in the field. She holds a doctorate degree in Sanskrit from the University of Madras for her work on Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, which is published as Concepts, Context, Conflations in the Kritis of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, which is published in 2013. Inspired by her guru, she has also penned a book, In Adoration of Kamakshi, on the kritis of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar on Goddess Kamakshi. She has served as a lecturer in many institutions and as an editor of trilingual quarterly magazine Sandarshanam. She is also a regular contributor to internationally acclaimed magazines like Tattvaloka, Shanmukha, etc. While she continues her musical upasana under her guru, she is also a classical dancer trained in Bharatanatyam, Mohiniyattam and Kuchipudi. She is presently the Director of Hamsanadam, a school of culture at Chennai, imparting her knowledge to aspirants. I request Asha ma'am to commence the talk.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. It is indeed with immense pleasure that I sit before you. So lovely to see enthusiastic young minds, that too in this age, showing so much of interest in such subjects. And it is indeed, I would really say, a very wonderful concatenation of circumstances that has brought all of us together here. We are all from diverse backgrounds. Still, the unifying thread, such a great Mahan. I would not use the word Mahan, I would go further. I would say he is what is called a Jivan Mukta in Advaita Vedanta. That's a separate topic by itself, so for a later stage. A poet once said, words are little flowers. Words are little flowers, and according to the powers of a poet, they can either bloom or close. The same word which we use normally in the hands of a poet, that takes on a different meaning, a different dimension, a different magnitude, a different beauty. So this is generally true for all high-end poetry, but it is very much and more so true for the Sanskrit poets. Sanskrit poets and yeah, okay. especially so for a Jivan Mukta like Dikshitar. And in his case, I would say not only the words bloomed, not only the Sahitya, Sangeetha also, the Swarams also bloomed. In one of his kritis on Goddess Saraswati, Sangeetha Sahitya Stana Dvayaya, the equal position he gives to Sangeetha and Sahitya, both are equally important. So maybe the Trinity are the only composers who have achieved absolute excellence in both. There are many other composers too, but all 1 degree a little bit less than the music trinity. And it is to Dikshitar's kritis on Lord Ganesha that will be, or I will not say we will be, Ganesha will be presenting himself to us in the way he wants, in the way he likes, and in how many forms he likes. And obviously, Dikshitar has done a lot of kritis on Ganesha, 26 or so. And obviously, the most favorite, the most well-loved is the Vatapi Ganapati, which everyone knows. So I think we'll take that first. And thank you. I don't mean to sing it because you have made my task easier. And it was a very soothing rendition of Vatapi Ganapati. It was very nice. It's a different kind of renditions, and some Sangatis also were different than the normal ones. What you generally hear is a very electrifying version of Vatapi Ganapati. Perhaps known for Dikshitar's, his style was more on the slower tempo, Drupad style. It was said that when he was in Kashi, his guru had taken him to Kashi. So there he spent about 6 to 7 years. He had initiation to Sri Vidya, Mantra Upasana. He was exposed to a lot of Hindustani style of music, Drupad style. Maybe that could have influenced his style of singing, especially if you take Akhilandeshwari, Chetashri, Jambupati, many of his songs. They are all more on the slow-paced tempo. So how did Vatapi end up like this? Taken his style, you know that it could have been in a more sedate pace. Generally, some scholars attribute to Vatapi Editar, when you take that very song, the first thing that strikes you is the beautiful Sangadis that come in the Pallavi. He has already sung them. The gradual development. For one thing, that raga is called Hamsadvani. You may be aware who composed that raga, Hamsadvani. It was a creation of very good, very good, very good. Ramaswami Dikshitar, Muthuswami Dikshitar's father, composed that raga. So Dikshitar obviously did this wonderful kriti, and it is said that so many Sangatis, see, you generally have a saying, when a great person gives us a creation, there is always scope for elaboration upon that. It is perhaps to tell us that the infinitude, the beauty of the infinitude Brahman doesn't stop with this. So there is always scope for expansion. And maybe that is why this kriti ended up with so many Sangatis, so many beautiful Sangatis, each one like the terraced garden, one upon another. It is said that these Sangatis are attributed to Mahavaidyanath Shiva, a famous composer and a musician of great merit. He is supposed to have developed these Sangatis, and later, of course, it came to stay. So Vatapi remains as such. On whom was this kriti composed? That is the Vatapi Ganapati we know, but where, what, etc. Can I have the slide, please? First slide. This Ganapati has a very interesting history. This is Vatapi Ganapati in the temple of Tiruvarur. Maybe some of you would have visited. Have you any? It's worth a visit. Do visit it once in your lifetime. It is the birthplace of the music trinity. Very good, very good. And Dikshitar has sung on almost all the deities inside the temple complex. It's not enough to see in one day. So many deities, so many sannidhis. So this is the Vatapi Ganapati on whom this kriti has been composed. So he has an interesting history. Vatapi is actually a different form of Badami in Karnataka. How many of you are familiar with the history of this Vatapi Ganapati? You are welcome to give inputs if you have read something.
In Charanam it is said Bijapur. Bijapura is nothing but guava fruit, I guess. So another name, Badam is in Bijapur. So
Good. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Okay, could be. That is a refreshing angle you have given. Very good. Bijapur, right. Otherwise, the history related to this. So actually, the Pallava king, Narasimhavarman, 7th century. The Pallavas and the Chalukyas had their capital in Badami. They were always at war with each other. A Chalukya king defeated this Pallava king, Narasimhavarman's father, Mahendravarman. So to avenge that defeat, Narasimhavarman took his whole army and invaded Vatapi. One of his greatest sources of strength was his commander-in-chief, Paranjoti. He was called Paranjoti. Power to the extreme, courageous to the extreme. He was the head of the elephant army and of the whole army of the Pallavas. Pallavas defeated the Chalukyas. And obviously in war what happens is a lot of looting takes place. They took away a lot of goods from the Chalukyas. Paranjoti, he was basically a great Shiva Bhakta. He saw an idol of Vatapi Ganapati in Badami, and he was a Ganapati Upasaka also. So he loved it so much that he took it. And he didn't show it in the war booty that he offered to his king. Because there are no written records of this idol. It's all hearsay, it is tradition that he brought an idol of Vatapi Ganapati from Badami, and he is supposed to have done the Pratishtha at his hometown of Tiruchengatangudi. Tiruchengatangudi is in Nagapattinam district. That's where he belonged. But actually later, historians when they did research, they say that, can I have the next slide? This is the Tiruchengatangudi Vatapi Ganapati that is there in that temple right now. Historians say that this does not have Chalukyan features of the sculpture. Rather than that, this Tiruvarur Vatapi Ganapati is more in accordance with Chalukya style of architecture. So basically two Vatapis we have. This is at Tiruvarur, and it is from the internal evidence also. Obviously Dikshitar has composed upon this Vatapi Ganapati only, because in the Kriti Mooladhara Kshetra Sthitam, the word comes, right? Mooladhara Kshetra is Tiruvarur. Tiruvarur Kinnur, another name is Mooladhara Kshetra. So he has very clearly stated in that Mooladhara Kshetra Sthitam Vatapi Ganapati. So it is this Ganapati which was sung by Dikshitar. And this is just a general panel for the Paranjoti. The general, what happened was, after he came back, he was never a person who was oriented towards war. He was more of a Shiva Bhakta, right? So once he came back and he got really he had a change of heart like what King Ashoka had once upon a time. So he renounced his general life, he became a monk. In fact, he became one of the Nayanmars. He was called Siruttondar Nayanar, and he became very famous as a Shiva Bhakta. So that is a panel in some temple which depicts, though the features of Vatapi Ganapati are different, this panel was interesting, so I thought I would show how such a great power. It is said that after he came back, after the conquest, the king himself was amazed, because Chalukya, the kingdom of Chalukya and the army of Chalukya were extremely powerful. It was impossible to vanquish them, because they had conquered many. Even Harshavardhan of North India used to be afraid of them, that amount of power they had. So the king himself, the Pallava king himself, was surprised. How did you achieve such a great victory by conquering the Chalukya army, which is it just cannot defeat it. It is said that the general didn't say a word. He just bent his head, folded hands, did a namaskar and walked away. The king didn't understand. Ministers knew that. They said because it was his upasana of Ganapati. He was a very, not an ordinary worshipper. He was a very strong upasana, is one step higher. We all worship Ganapati. Everyone, Ganapati or any god is fine. We do have religious beliefs, we go to temples, we observe the festivals, everything we have. Everyone, each one of us, something. At least in our homes, definitely there's a puja room, we do that. But upasana is something much higher. So he had what was called the Ganapati upasana, and that gave him that kind of tremendous power to vanquish. And the king had put him as a general for the whole elephantine army itself. So that is the beautiful story there. Still there are a lot of, when you come to academics, what happens is always one scholar has something to say to refute the other. So still the doubt a bit goes on whether this Vatapi Ganapati in Thiruvarur, was it installed by Paranjoti or was it already existed? Because one traditional account says that, and Dikshitar also mentions here, Pura Kumbha Sambhava Muni, the Chanam. Pura Kumbha Sambhava Muni Vara Prapujitam Trikona Madhyagatam. Pura Kumbha Sambhava is a name for Agastya. Agastya worshipped the Vatapi Ganapati. That is what is said in that kriti. There is also a tradition that he could have done the pratishtha of this Vatapi Ganapati in Thiruvarur, because south, many places are associated with Agastya as a possibility. So that is also there. Anyway, as I said, these two images are different. This image is still there in Tiruchengatapudi, Paranjyoti's birthplace. This is there in Thiruvarur. It is there in one of the, as the main deity, you come down and then start going around, you can really see a lot of Ganeshas. He sits cutely on you can very easily miss it. You just walk like this in Jetkarde, you won't even know. When I saw him first, when I went to all these places when I was a research scholar, maybe your age. I had absolutely no maturity whatsoever. And no that kind of religious upasana, nothing of that. I was just a very, very ordinary youngster like you people are. Maybe I was a nerd, I don't know, because a lot of people used to say they could not communicate with me much because I was always on to academics. So when I went, I don't know, something about him appealed. I went as a research scholar. Okay, Dikshitar has sung about all this. I should go, I should take photos. What are these? That's what my guide had told me, but somehow when I saw this Vatapi, he instantly reminded me of, maybe it was stylish, a Kolkatai, a Modak, because that is the shape, right? So I used to always think of him as Kolkatai Puliya. Whenever I learned Vatapi Ganapati in class, I was even younger when I learned. I used to giggle and laugh. My guru used to wonder why I was doing it. And I used to tell Illa, I didn't get the Sangati properly, I sang it funnily, so I laughed. But I used to always visualize this Kolkatai Ganapati, and it was sort of a funny kind of link. And maybe I miss that link nowadays. When you grow older, what happens is you mature. That may not be a good thing sometimes. You lose that connection. I can no longer think of him as Kolkatai Puliya. No. I think of him as a Vatapi Ganapati, with such a grand Ganapati who sits in the Mooladhara Chakra, who raises the Kundalini, etc., etc., etc. It's a totally different kind of vision. I miss my Kolkatai Puliya. And after a long time, he has come today. And actually, the Kolkatai, the philosophy behind the Kolkatai, I'm sure all of you will be knowing. See, it is the Shet which encloses the Atma Swarupa, right, in Vedanta. In Vedanta, it says there are 5 koshas. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Anyone knows? Please do say. Because I don't want to be the only one who's doing all the talking. Pancha kosha. There are a lot of references in Dikshitar also. So that is how we fashion that extra layer of it. Once you remove that, what is there is the sweet Purna. And the name also, you see, it says Purna. Purnamidam. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. Purnam is again a Vedic word of a whole. And that whole is full of rasa, sweetness. So that whole is something which is there inside all of us. That is what the Kolkatai reminds us. So when we offer a Kolkatai to Ganapati, that's what it means. your Sharira, your own Atma Swarupa, and that he likes to take. Because he likes a person who understands the concept behind it. Everyone does contact. He loves to eat on a child basis, he loves to eat. But this is something little more higher. Will not someone understand the real truth about me someday, sometime? Maybe he said that to me. I wouldn't say that I've understood, but still, I'm one step further higher. So coming, and generally, many musicians Varana, Varana, Syamvara, Pradam. That's how when you sing. But it's better to sing it as Varanasyam. Because Asyam is the word there, means face. Varana means elephant. So instead of breaking the word there, Varanasyam Vara Pradam Shri. So that is the Pallavi. Bhutadi Samsevita Charanam Bhuta Bhautika Prapancha Bharanam. We get lost in the song that we sometimes miss out on the beauties of the Sahitya. Always happens. Bhutadi. Bhutadi on the superficial level, Bhuta Ganas. The Veda itself says, Gadanam Tvam Ganapatim Havamahe. That's the first Vedic either. The groups, he is the leader. He is the leader of Ganas. That is why Dikshitar has put Bhuta Ganas, predominantly Shiva Ganas. Shiva Ganas by themselves have a lot of subdivisions. And if you take the worldwide view, world is always classified into groups of animals, groups of human beings, groups of trees, groups of that, groups of this. So all the groups, that is basically, he is the leader of everything. That's why the next word Dikshitar says, Bhuta Bhautika Prapancha Bharana. Here again he indicates Sthula Srishti and Sukshma Srishti according to Advaita Vedanta. Bhuta, the word indicates the Sukshma level of creation. Bhautika Prapancha, the expansion through the Panchikarana Prakriya. I will not go deep into that because we do have other Ganapatis to cover. But I just wanted to tell a few tattvas behind that. So that is then again, in spite of all this, he is Vitaraginam, Vinatayoginam. Vitaraginam is absolutely devoid of any desires whatsoever. Usually power gives us a lot of arrogance, I would say. It didn't for Ganapati, it did. Though he has been given the supremacy, absolute power, he is absolutely devoid of any kind of desires whatsoever. This is, Dikshitar sings it in another kriti also, in an even beautiful, the word he uses. Here he has used Vitaraginam. There, Yehana Varjitam. Can you tell me which kriti? Rauhineya Nujachitam Yehana Varjitam. Siddhivinayakam, one of the most common kritis. Ihana, the word, the Dikshitar, the idea and the, what I would say the prayoga, the phrase which he uses. He has put Ihana. Ihana means the desire. And that is one of the kamas, the first thing. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, the 6 enemies of man, Kama comes from. Kama does not mean not the ordinary love at all. It does mean that any desire, any kind of desire, if you keep on desiring it, multiplies. So that's why he says, Ihana is the greatest enemy of man. That he does not have an iota of desire at all. So we should learn to be like Ganapati. You may have everything. But at heart of hearts, remember to detach yourself, to distance yourself. Even in modern day meditation practices, don't they tell us? Mindfulness. Observe your thoughts, detach yourself from your thoughts and emotions, you will get a lot of peace. That is what he said here. Look at the endings. Vitaraginam, Vinatayoginam, Vishwakaranam, Vignavaranam. Writing poetry is one thing, singing it with lot of swara shuddha is different. Vitaraginam, Vinatayoginam, Vishwakaranam, Vignavaranam, Vatapiganam. Gatim. See the majesty of the raga. The fast and the slow doesn't go slow at all. The entire gamut of Hamsadvani is covered in that one particular Sangati. What the only Dikshitar can do it. Next we come to the Charanam. Pura Kumbha Sambhava Muni Vara Prapujita. Agastya worshipped Ganapati. Any inputs? Anyone knows when Agastya worshipped? Kaveri, okay. Some more on that myth.
Carried Kaveri into Kamandala.
Yes, yes.
Kaka Swam Ganapati came.
Yes, good. He was responsible for bringing Kaveri to South India, Ganapati. I don't think the others are aware of this myth. Okay, we'll go a little more backward. First name of the Vatapi, as I said, this is from Badami, right? Agastya is supposed to have had his ashrama somewhere there, or rather he was there for some time. This was during the period of even Ramayana, because that is the period when there were two asuras, even earlier than Ramayana. This story Vishwamitra tells to Rama and Lakshmana. The story of Vatapi. There were two asuras, Vatapi and Ilvala. They were wreaking havoc. Their modus operandi, how to operate the crime was, they used to call a rishi for food. And Ilvala used to kill Vatapi and cook him in such a way that the rishi never knew what was being served to him, that it was a non-veg or veg or whatever. He used to eat it harmlessly, not knowing anything. And Ilvala had that power. As soon as the meal was over, he used to say, Vatapi, my dear brother, come out. And that Vatapi used to come out of the stomach of the rishi close. So this was what they used to be killing all the rishis. Agastya did upasana of this Vatapi Ganapati. Ganapati guided him to this place, and one day Agastya came to this Asura's place. The Asuras were even more happy. This is one of the greatest rishis. If we really kill them, it is be a... See, killing, there are levels of killing, right? You kill a mosquito, you don't get famous. If you kill someone great, say the president or something, you become instantly famous overnight. So Agastya was something like that. Chota Mota Rishi, no, it's a Bada Rishi. So if we should kill him, they operated the usual procedure. Agastya very deliciously ate. And after that he kept on saying, come out, Vatapi. Vatapi didn't come out. Instead what Agastya did, he just wiped his stomach and said, Vatapi Jirno Bhava, Vatapi Jirno Bhava. Jirno Bhava means get digested. Asura got digested. See the power of the Rishi. He can digest even an Asura. Think of it in metaphorical terms. How much you can digest when you have spiritual power. Anything and everything. That's what spiritual power gives you. So that then the story goes like that. So but that Vatapi Ganapati got that name from that day. So that is what he brought here. And of course the second story is what you said. He brought down Kaveri in a Kamandala. One story is that there was a river called Ponni who was a bit arrogant. So to subdue her arrogance, sage Agastya took that river in a pot. See, you think you're such a great surging flood, I can put you in my pot. He carried the pot down. He put it down in a place. That place there was no water there. So Ganesha came in the form of a crow and he tipped over that Kamandalu. Agastya was doing his ablutions. He ran back. He saw the crow. He was angry that the crow had tipped over that Kamandalu. That was that Talakaveri. That is how she came surging out as Kaveri from Agastya's Kamandalu. So this crow turns into a boy. Agastya does not know it is Pulaya. So what did you do, you naughty boy? He went and knocked his head. It became Pulaya, oh my God, I am sorry. Then he knocked his own head. That is a tradition that knocking the head started from that day. So all these stories apart, the point is in one line, Pura Kumbha Sambhava Munivara Prapujitam. That's all is that line. We just sing it and go along. So much of mythology Dikshitar has condensed. Probably waiting for a day when someday when all this is preserved, someone will read, oh, he has said something about Agastya, let us read upon Agastya. What greatness. In capsule form, in atomic form. Trikona Madhyagatam. As I said, every phrase you can just go on and on and on and on. Looks like Vatapi himself will take some time. Anyway, Trikona Madhyagatam. Trikona means the three-angled triangle. And that is the triangle which is there inside the Mooladhara Chakra. The Mooladhara Chakra at the base of the spinal column is, you all would be knowing it is in the form of a lotus. In the middle of the lotus there is a triangle. And in middle of that triangle, Ganapati says, Trikona Madhyagatam Mooladhara Kshetra Sthitam Paradi Vagatmakam Paradi Chatvari Vagatmakam. Any ideas what Dikshitar is trying to say here?
Tara Pratit Madhyama Vaikari.
Yes, what are they?
Something related to sound or something.
Sound, yes, sound and speech. Speech, words and speech. On the speech level and on the sound level there are 4 stages. How do we produce speech? Paranadas from the Mooladhara, then Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. When it comes out as speech, it is called Vaikari. Speech or for music for that matter, on both sides. Swaras originate from the Pranava and the Mooladhara. They build up. Para and Pashyanti are not audible. Madhyamas, that which can be felt by yogins in the heart. Vaikari, which we all are able to feel. So Ganapati as the Lord of speech and as the Lord of music also. That is what this phrase says. And the beauty, he takes it from the Mooladhara, from the lower range. See the harmony of sound and sense. Vagatmakam, then Pranava Swarupa Vakratundam, highest level of Nada is again the Pranava. So that is embodied in the face of Ganapati. So it is as if you can visualize a Ganapati who is slowly raising his trunk and taking upwards. And the Raga form is also visualized in this phrase. What a genius is Dikshitar. Nirataram Nitila Chandra Khandam. Nitila Chandra Khandam is the moon on his forehead. So on the forehead is again, that is where the Sahasrara chakra is. And that there is a moon there also. So maybe Dikshitar is indicating that yogic aspect also. Apart from the fact that Ganapati does have a moon on his forehead, inherited from his father. Same thing, he also has a crescent moon, but this is also their inner meaning. As I said, great men, the words of great men are just not restricted to the ordinary level of speech. There is something inside which they want to convey. That comes when you read repeatedly, when you have devotion toward that person. These arthas just come out like that. You need not sit and search and take out what could he have said. No. It just comes like that at some stage. What happens when your Kundalini rises by yoga, that is what Dikshitar is conveying in this. Pranava Swarupa Vakra Nirantaram Nitila Chandra Khandam. When it goes and reaches the Sahasrara, nectar starts flowing from the yogi's head. This Kundalini Yoga everyone will be knowing because it is there blatantly on the net. So that nectar, the sugar cane is symbolizing the nectar. So that is what he is saying. Nijavamakara vedritekshodandam. From top to bottom he is coming back again. Vamakara vidritekshodandam, the sugar cane. That is what he is having. That any symbol which a god has is just not a symbol. It is a symbol. It is for dhyana. Yes? But the higher meaning is always there. This is the nectar which flows from the head of a yogi that he is saying. Then of course later, and even the alliterations, if you see, Pura Kumbha Sambhava, Murari, then Paradi Chatvari Vagatmakam, and the endings if you see, Tundam, Khandam, Dandam, you take the text and just keep reading. All the thumb endings in the Charanam, Nam endings in the Madhyama Kala Sahityam, again Charanam, Bharanam, Raginam, Yoginam, Karanam, Varanam, Prapujitam, thumb endings there, Gatam, Upasitam, Kshetrasthitam, Vagatmakam, then Vakratundam, Khandam, Dandam. See, how the words are flowing. Then of course, Kara Puja Pasha Bija Pura Kalusha Viduram Bhutakaram. Bhutakaram again is the magnificent form encompassing all the worlds. I am told that there are two big stone sculptures of Ganapati in Hampi, if I am right. Maybe you will be more familiar with that. Giant Ganapatis. So lovely to look at. So Ganapati can come like this, he can come like this. Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, says the Upanishad, right? So he is that. He is not only this, he is much more. That's what is Dikshitar. Harati Guruguha Doshita Bimbam Hamsadhvani Bhushita Herambam. I think we should go to the next Ganapati. So Kolkata, we should say bye to Kolkata and go. Otherwise we'll stay with this itself. Again, he is worshipped by all gods. That we'll do later, who worshipped him well. Hamsadhvani is the Raga Mudra there. Hamsadhvani Bhushita, he is adorned with the Raga of Hamsadhvani. Bhushita Herambam. Heramba is again a very special form of Ganapati, which we'll do a bit later. So Vatapi is the most famous Ganapati in Tiruvallur. There are other Ganapatis also who are equally famous. As you go, can we have the next slide? What is the time, please? 11. He's taken so much time. My dear little Kolkata player. Children always want more attention. And any particular form or child you show a little bit of affection, what happens? There are other kids also. That kid sticks with you, keeps on demanding more attention, right? Thank you. The next is slide Panchamatanga. Actually, a very sorry state of affairs. Such a great Dikshitar Kriti. But this player sits very next to Vatapi Ganapati. If you go, you have this Panchamatanga Mukha Ganapati. He is called Panchamatanga Mukha, five-faced. Just a look at. Panchamatanga Mukha Ganapatina Paripalitoham Sumukhena Shri Panchamatanga Mukha Ganapatina Paripalitoham Sumukhena Shri Panchamatanga says, I am protected by Panchamukha Ganapati. And again, this is in the Raga Malahari, Rupakam. Have you heard this Kriti? It's a bit rare. You may have, many Kritis are not sung because in the modern day phrase, they are not very concert worthy. Because they will not appeal. Audience always wants something like a little more peppy, a little more flashy. Who wants to sit and listen to a very meditative, goes on and on and on, that kind of Kriti. Maybe these Kritis were not meant for that. Obviously, he did it out of his upasana at this Sannidhi. The Sannidhi which inspired so much of such a great Kriti is now like this. Maybe a bit better now than I took when I went there during my research days. Not very clear, but this is how it was. There was a lot of vibhuti on it. Probably vibhuti abhishekam had been done. He says Panchamatanga Mukha Ganapatina Tritiya Vibhakti. Dikshitar had a penchant for composing in the vibhaktis. The Guruguha vibhaktis, you know. Then there are the Kamalamba, Navavarnam, Abhayamba Vibhakti, Nelotpalamba Vibhakti. The series is long. When it came to Ganesha, there are Vibhakti Kritis, but not exactly in the same pattern as the other Vibhakti. This is the third one. And then you have Sumukhena, that is a very important name for Ganesha. There are 16 names of Ganesha which are considered important. In that, the first Sumukhasta, at any rite we do in our houses, Sumukhaya Namaha, Ekadantaya Namaha, we start with these only. Sumukha is the first word. So that Sumukhena Shri, that he says. Then you have in the Anupallavi. Again, the rhyming in Pancha. Prapanchodayadikarana Panchabhutatmaka Prapanchodayadikarana Viruchi Harirudranutena Panchavatra Shivasutena Panchamatanga Mukhaganapatina Viruchi Harirudranutena Panchavatra Shivasutena Panchamatanga Mukhaganapatina. The beauty of such great creations is you don't feel like going to the next line at all. You feel like singing same and then going deep inside somewhere, and you are forced to draw your mind out, forcibly come out. Oh, you have some time limit, you have something to do with this world. Anyway, again, Pancha Bhutatmaka Prapanchodayadi Karana may seem a very simple compound word, but it actually embodies what is called the Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman in Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta gives two Lakshanas for Brahman. You may be familiar with the term since I understand there were some Vedantic lectures too here. Swarupa Lakshana of Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma says the Upanishad, and then you have the Tatastha Lakshana. Because Brahman as such you cannot understand. If you say it is truth, it is knowledge per se, infinity per se, they are all abstract concepts. So the Upanishad came down one step lower and it said it is the material cause. Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayantyam samvishanti tat vijijñāsasva tad brahmeti. The Upanishad gives us, exhorts us, we told there, tat vijijñāsasva. Go in search of that. That's what it is saying. It is not something, just go and search. No, the tone there is that. Go search for what? The material cause of the world. That's what actually science is trying to do now in a different line altogether. Rishis did it then itself. It is that from which this whole universe evolved, cosmos evolved, Udayadi Karana, which it is sustained by that. It's not just enough if the universe has evolved, it has to be sustained continuously, right? And then finally at the time of deluge, it goes back into that. Yat prayanti abhisamvishanti srishti sthiti laya. In this, what to say, the small, you won't even notice such a Ganapati, but so much of concepts Dikshitar has sung. Panchavatra Shiva Sutena, again Pancha. He is the son of the five-faced Lord Shiva. There is a story that how was this Ganapati born? Shiva contemplated on the Ganapati mantra, Ekakshara mantra, through his five faces. Ishana, Satyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha. From each of that a Jyoti came out. And then it was formed into this Panchamukha Ganapati. So that is the Panchavatra Shiva Sutena. Virinchi Harirudranutena. He is worshipped by Brahma. Virinchi is Brahma. Worshipped him at the dawn of creation. So that the creation should go on well, right? Brahma is the Srishtikarta. Hari is Lord Vishnu. He worshipped him before the Madhu Kaithabha Vadha. Before killing those asuras, Vishnu worshipped. Then Rudra is Shiva. Before Tripura Vadha, he is said to have worshipped Ganapati. See, that one line, maybe this one kriti will go for another half an hour if I sit on it. There is so much of material in that. Panchavatra Shiva Sutena. Then you see the amazing detail in the Charanam. Though that is not very clear, it must have been clear when Dikshitar sang the kriti of this Ganapati. Everything Ganapati has in his hand. Am I audible? भय पाश श्रेणी कपालदं मोदक मुद्गरा Varada Bhaya Pash. He has all this in his hands. Varada is a gesture of blessing. Abhaya, protection. Pasha, the noose. Srini, the goad. Not the goat, goad, Ankusha, that is. Kapala, the skull. Danta, the tusk. Modaka, of course, Modaka. Mudgara means the mace. And Akshamala is the rosary. Point is, these are things which come in shlokas, dhyana shlokas of Ganapati. And unless you are really on to that kind of thing, it is very difficult for you to sit and visualize. But Dikshitar gives it so musically that you get lost in the music. At the same time, you are chanting the Ganapati mantra also. Varada Bhaya Pasha Srini Kapaladanta Modaka Mudgara Kshamala Karena Kamala Pura Viharena. That is a really melting moment from the raga point of view, especially when my revered guru, Sangeetha Kala Acharya Smt, Seetha Narayanan, her disciples have also come. At these places, when she stops, it is equal to Brahmananda. The way she stops is totally different from the way I did it, but it is really something you get goosebumps. I didn't get anywhere, so still I'm telling you, there are people who can bring out that kind of the Brahmananda in a single note. That is years of Nadopasana. My guru has been singing ever since I know her, and she's still singing. She's 80 plus easily, she's still singing. Na bhuto na bhavishyati, I will say. Kamalapura Viharena. Kamalapura is another name for Tiruvarur. Earlier song we saw Mooladhara Kshetra, Kamalapura. Puruhuta Vyakila Deva Pujita Vigneshwarena. Puruhuta means Indra. Indra and all other devatas have worshipped both the Kshetra and this Ganapati. The Kshetra Mahatmya has a lot of other details, but I don't think we'll go into that. Varaguru Guhasodarena Suruchira Lambodharena. Varaguru Guhasodarena Suruchira Lambodharena Karnaga Gauratarena Kalimalaharana Chaturena Panchama Tangamukha Ganapatina. The beauty is you are so gliding along with the song. Madhyama Kala Sahitya just catches you like this. Between it starts. Vara Guru Guha Sodarena. You are the brother of Guru Guha. Incidentally, Guru Guha has the mudra here also. Dikshitar's mudra. Suruchira Lambodharena. Very nice word. Again, Lambodhara is also one of the words for Ganapati in the song. Suruchira Lambodharena. Thank you, ma'am. Giving you so much of trouble. Sorry. Sorry to all of you also. Varaguru Sodarena Suruchira Lambodharena. Varaguru Sodarena. Varaguruha Sodarena Suruchira Lambodharena. Lambodhara technically means a pot belly. Most of us have it, the middle-aged. Middle-aged, I am not talking about you youngsters. Will anyone say, look at a pot-bellied obese man and say, you're so nice, you're so attractive? Never. Ganapati he's saying. He's that, but he's still so cute and so attractive. You really love it, especially even when kids have that kind of little toppai, we always go and give an extra pinch on the cheek. Hey, you're looking so cute. Suruchira Lambodarena, Karunardra is what reading, Karunanga is also there. Karunanga Gauratarena. Karuna Ardra means he is just absolutely vetted by Karuna. It's the form of Karuna, compassion. Kali Malaharana Chaturena. Malaharana is again the Raga Mudra. He does not, earlier Kriti he said Hamsadhvani Bhushita. He is adorned by that raga. Here it is a deeper way of using the raga mudra when he says Kali Malaharana. Malahari, the raga itself, is supposed to have power to wash away dirt and toxins, and maybe that is why Purandar Dasa decided to have it in Sri Gadanatha, the first Geetam. Not one Geetam. Kids are taught 4 Geetams in that raga, Malahari. So that's obviously something more deeper than what is obviously seen on the surface. So he says Kali Malaharana. It can remove all the doshas of, that's all he can do. Poor Ganapati, he's sitting like this now. More or less even now he's like that. Last year we had the opportunity to visit Tiruvarur and it was